Hello.
Hello.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, you look as though you're on my side. That's all right. Right, hello, come on. Some of you got limited time. Dive in. Fast as you can. Move it.
So, how involved are you in the specials next year?
I'm not really involved at all, except obviously I'll be reading them and sort of. Well, I'll want to see the scripts, which I wouldn't normally. I'd normally just say, "Oh, surprise me," but we're going to have to liaise a bit because I have to be grown up some professionals and not worry about spoilers because that's ridiculous. And Russell and I have to grow up someday, and that'll be the day. So I'm just a normal thing. I'll read scripts and so on, but not. I'll have quite enough on my plate, thank you.
Yes.
Hopefully my input was saying, that's fantastic. Stop spending our money.
Yes.
I know you can't.
Right.
I know those are mine.
Do you plan on keeping the same sort of structure as the last 4 series? Kind of a loosely interconnected stories building up to a finale in the last 2 episodes? Or?
I mean, it's interesting that. I mean, actually, I don't think that was invented for Doctor Who. That's it's the only way you can do a popular mainstream show. If you do a show, which I did like with Jekyll, where you actually have to watch every single episode,
right,
or you won't understand it. That's a stupid idea. Damn. What you do is you have individual freestanding stories which have hints and glances in them that you can pay off later, but you don't need to have them. That's just sense, because the reality of a show with an audience the size of this one, which is very big in the UK, is that it's terrifying that most people, the vast majority of people, only see occasional episodes, and it has to work for them.
Right.
That's it. So when you do a hit show, you are actually romancing the casual viewer, and the casual viewer is not going to put up with the plot arc.
Okay.
Well, it was very thrilling. I thought. Very exciting. I mean, I love all that. I mean, it's just it's sort of it's all right. Russell saying, "What happens if I press everything at once? What would happen?" Yeah, well, why not? I mean, it was fun, but it was in a way it was, which I think is actually becoming quite important for Doctor Who, is it was a celebration of the mythology of the show, but actually the new mythology, not the old one. Because for the kids, our most cherished audience members, Captain Jack is ancient. He's been here from the beginning. Right. They talk in hushed tones. I remember once the Emperor Dalek. Yeah. So he was, I think, doing this sort of grand mythologizing of the new stories, which I think is quite important, because when the show first came back, what Russell was doing was grabbing the icons of the old show. Now it's quite different. The old show and the new show have become the same show. Everyone just thinks of it as the same show with a gap in the middle towards the end. And so now it's important to celebrate the new stuff. But I just have to be fantastic fun. I mean, God, how could you not enjoy that?
So do you feel like it's a bit of a clean slate that you're coming into?
Clean slate if you want it to be. I mean, the thing about Doctor Who is you never have to clean the slate. Yeah. He walks out the TARDIS, and you can choose whether he sees something he's never seen before or something he's seen before. Yeah. So you've got the option always of bringing stuff back or not. Now, I would say, and I just think it's inescapably true, that Doctor Who is at its most pure when everything he meets and encounters is brand new. That's what the show fundamentally is. Now, it's nice to bring back old things, but new things, new monsters, new friends, new allies. That's the really exciting thing, because the hit always decays. It's a fact. So it's got to be new. And again, remembering our very, very important child audience, for them, each new series there's a whole bunch of new kids watching for the first time, and they must think this is their show. It's their show, not the one that their parents watch, not the one that their older brother and sister watch. Theirs. The really important one is theirs. So you don't want them thinking, well, who's that, and what did he mean when he said that? You want them thinking, well, it's dead simple. He's a fantastic man who travels in space and time with his mate and walks out and has adventures. That's the whole format. So reducing it back to that all the time is very important.
How do you feel about the U.S. audience being really not targeted towards kids?
Well, it's you're getting it wrong. What can I say? I mean,
my kids love the show. You know, they're
it's
5, 10, and
for them,
12. They
yeah.
love it, and just the fact that it's on like 9 o'clock on a Friday
I don't.
night.
I'm vexed by it. I don't understand it. I mean, this is a show that's going to have sticker books and
Yeah,
lunch
they still have- and
boxes
the
and
toys are- the toys are
collecting
Toys R Us.
cards.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the toy shop show, and more importantly than that, in a way, it's not even just the fact that obviously more adults than children watch it because there are more adults than children, but the adults watch it because it's a children's show.
Yeah.
The way you read Harry Potter, the way you watch Star Wars or Toy Story, you think this is much better than all the adult stuff I have to pretend I like. Soft character development. There's some spaceships. That's what Doctor Who is about. And it's those. You never outgrow those values of
And you guys
storytelling.
don't have any say in how it's marketed to the States. It's just kind of.
I'm new at this job. I don't know. I'd always be.
Do you think
I'd always
you're
be saying
right?
you should target children.
Do you think you're right with knowing that an American audience is now a viable audience for the new show now?
Would I write for the American audience?
Yeah, and in conjunction with, as being a British-centric show, you know?
I don't think you can. For a start, I don't think you ever write for the audience. Really,
You
you
just
just
write
write.
the show.
I write the kind of Doctor Who I would like to watch. That's what I.
Yeah.
That's all I ever do. But how would you do that? It's a successful show already. I think it'd be good if Doctor Who would be a bigger show here if if people cottoned on to the fact this is really a show the entire family can sit around and watch.
Yeah.
And you'll have a really good chat about it afterwards, and you'll get excited. And it'll be it's a really good bonding show for that. I mean, if you're in Britain on a Saturday, or the Doctor Who is on, and you're in, as I am, because I've got kids, you're in some sort of play centre or playground or something where there are kids. All you hear are parents saying, "If you're not good, you are not going to watch Doctor Who today." And so this is the reason why Doctor Who is so popular. Is that children, every time they see Doctor Who, feel as though they've been really, really good. And to this day, I think every time I see it, I've been a really good boy today. Hooray! Now that I'm taking over Doctor Who, I realise I must be the best behaved boy in the country. Everyone is toast compared to me. I'm so well behaved.
You're a shining example.
I am, frankly. You should all be embarrassed compared to me. It's all a bloody class over here.
There seems to be a strange dynamic in the U.S. with Doctor Who. It's either you watch it and you love it and you're fanatical about it, or you never heard of it. What are you going to do to try to change that?
Well, I think it would be good to reduce the number of people who've never heard of it and increase the ones who are fanatical. I mean,
That's why you had the big
it'd be
job.
terrible if we made the other decision, wouldn't it? Like, show me the memo. That would be the best plan. I do think the key to that is getting kids to realise this is the most fun your television can do to you, and that their dads will really love it, and then their mums will really love it because they'll fancy the Doctor. Oh wow! It's a very good. There's explosions, spaceships, babes, time travel. Come on, it's monsters. What's the rest of television doing? All about vets and rubbish.
Will we ever find out what happened with during the Time War, like a part of a series devoted to exactly what happened?
Because nothing. Let me take you back all those many, many years when you first saw Star Wars, and that really exciting moment where Obi-Wan Kenobi said, the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And your little child brain went, whoa, it must be fantastic. It's millions of clones, they're all identical, they were grown in vats, they probably carried the vats, and they were all clones, new clones growing from trees, brilliant. And then it showed up and it was a bunch of meetings. I mean, you can't ever live up to something like that, can you? So you've got Russell tossing off these lines, which I love. It's my favourite stuff of his work is, I was there at the fall of Arcadia. Of course you were, what's that? The Gates of Elysium, the Medusa Cascade. What's ever going to live up to that? Have you seen our budget? People arguing in a room saying the Time War's still going. Hey, bad out there. Lots of clocks.
Peek out the door.
But some things are best being myths, and that's become a new part of the myth is, that Time War. It's bad. Maybe someone will do it someday, but I'll bet it's on audio or something. I doubt it'll be in the show.
How far along is the plotting for the new series when you take it?
I've got a fair amount in my head, which I'm not going to talk to you about. And I'm just going to be very, very honest about that. The reason I'm not saying anything about it isn't because it's a state secret, though obviously it is, and I'd have to kill anyone who knows about it. But aside from that, apart from the whole murderer thing, I can't talk about it because it's 2 years away before the show is seen. If I start talking about it, it's going to seem like it's a repeat before it shows up, so I can't do that.
Any commitment from David yet?
I'm not talking about that either. The thing about, I'll just cover that question as well. And if you want to know what happens to the Doctor, you watch Doctor Who. This is a show that motors on surprise, so we don't give away major plot developments. That would include what happens to the Doctor, surprisingly.
I think we got your feelings on spoilers from the library department.
Yes.
Yeah.
With a focus on the family-friendly kind of aspect, do you think that under your leadership, Doctor Who will continue to be diverse culturally and politically, and keep the open-minded bent that was previous leadership?
Well, I'd like to think it would become closed-minded, but, mainly we're about monsters. But, yes, of course. It wouldn't be... I think there is a... I'm not claiming there's a great, fantastic philosophy behind Doctor Who, because it's mostly an adventure show, but it's a show that's got a very open-hearted, open-minded view. You know that the Doctor is the ultimate liberal, by which I mean he tells everyone what to do and blows up the planet if he disobeys. So yes, I think that those values are absolutely central to the show, and I would agree with them all anyway. But it's not like it's a major strand. Sometimes you read things, articles about the sexualizing of the Doctor, and I keep thinking I must have missed all the good episodes.
I'm assuming that you grew up with the Doctor, as you were growing up.
Yeah.
You grew up with the series. What do you find as now that you're going to be running the show? What do you find is the most compelling thing you want to explore about Doctor Who mythos?
You got to watch these things like exploring the Doctor Who mythos, because again, it's brand new. It belongs to the kids, belongs to the new audience, belongs to the those bastards have never heard of it in America and are going to watch it for the first time on Series 5. I like the perfect paradigm Doctor Who story, which is that he walks out the TARDIS and he hasn't a clue what's going on. He's saying, what's that? I don't know. What are those monsters doing? Are they goodies? Are they baddies? It turned out to be something else entirely. I think that's the sort of perfect Doctor Who. At the same time, I think good monsters should come back, and that's another rule of Doctor Who, so it's a kind of split thing. But the mythos, I suppose it's just something I like. I like the fact he's a time traveller, and I've messed around with that a bit, and I think you could do 10% more of that, no more than that, because otherwise you get very bored of it. But just not so much the fact that he's a time traveller, but he actually lives in a time machine. People keep saying, he's got his age wrong. You say, how would he know what age he is? Unless he's marking it on a wall, he hasn't a clue. He's just making it up, because a calendar is no use to him, and he doesn't look like the kind of bloke who's keeping count. So unless he's actually keeping count of his heartbeats, he'd have no clue. So I like the idea that for him, everyone is still alive. For him, the universe is forever. He's a door to everywhere. But beyond that, really, it's just about good stories. It really is. And the mythos of the Doctor is like the Time War thing. It's best alluded to. We know something's weird about him. We know he had kids once. We know he was married once. He's quite whatever Time Wars did in terms of marriage. We know all that. We'll never know about it. He won't tell anyone his name. An extraordinary thing to manage to get away with for 45 years. just doesn't mention it.
How do you keep track of all the things that you introduce, so you make sure you don't contradict things that have happened in the past?
By memorizing the entire series.
Yeah, database, or do you have a staff that kind of fact checks?
Come on, have you seen the staff of the show? We all know it backwards. We would mock David for failing to pronounce Zyton correctly. Listen, the trouble is, with great forethought, I spent my childhood and teenage years not having any girlfriends at all and just memorizing all of Doctor Who. I think that's dedication for you. Still a virgin, but boy, do I know what I'm doing.
Is it true that you applied for a job at Doctor Who when you were 7?
No. It's a good line, isn't it? Do you know what I was thinking? This is terrible. This is going to sound awful. You're all going to hate me, and so you should, Andrew. I thought it was a good line, also I was 7. It's a good gag. Obviously I wanted the job when I was 7, but I didn't really apply for it. But I also thought, also I was 7. It's quite an odd phrasing. You can Google it.
Right.
I wanted to see how many hits I'd get on Also I Was 7 a week later, and I got a lot.
Did you?
Isn't that dreadful? Now people are going to be, Also I Was 7 on their website and say, Stephen Moffat's a bastard.
But it is true you turned down about £500,000 for the Tintin sequel.
Those figures are all completely wrong.
Okay.
I mean, really, that they're so made up. I love what they think I'd get paid in Doctor Who. What?
Well, license fee.
Look, it's not a badly paid job, Doctor Who. I'm not going to pretend it's badly paid. It's very, very well paid, I assure you. The figures were just made up, and it appalls me that the research could be. Do you know what? If you want to go and work out what I was paid in 1010 and what I'll get paid in Doctor Who, get on your internet and figure it out. You know what age I am. You know what I've done in the past. It's not hard. So they're not the country mile of the correct answer. I walked away from some. I mean, broadly speaking, I suppose I would have been paid more in Tintin than on Doctor Who. I suppose that's true. But it's not like I'll be living in the street. And who knows when those action figures hit.
What are you expecting for the show today or tomorrow?
I have no idea. I have no idea where I am.
Have you been there before?
No, I have no.
Have you been to other cons?
I've been to the Gallifrey Doctor Who convention, which is, I know this isn't a Doctor Who convention. I've been to that as a convention, and it was a nice. Jet lag to hell, so I expect I'll be spacey, indiscreet, and fall over at some point, and probably a lot of people looking at me. There you go. Pretty much standard for a weekend.
Who's going to be on the panel with you tomorrow?
Who's
going to be on the panel tomorrow?
I don't remember, and I may not even have looked at the piece of paper yet. Listen, I'm sorry, I thought it was my phone. Julie and I just jumped out of a car right at this moment and come in and sat here. We haven't a clue what we're doing. I don't know who you lot are. You could just be people sitting down to have a chat. I came in and chat.
We are.
You probably I don't know what you're going to say. What's that guy?
She paid us $50.
What's Doctor Who? Why does he care?
With the next series of Doctor Who coming up, and no mention of any of those are you going to explore the travel for a bit? Just to have a
Hey, if you want to know what's going to happen to Doctor Who, you're going to have to watch Doctor Who. That's what you do. That's what we do. We will parcel up the answers to those questions in colourful, vibrant, exciting, funny episodes of Doctor Who and give them to you. How much better an answer could I give you than that?
Are you worried that the fans are going to be a bit kind of, well, they're going to miss their regular weekly hits as opposed to having 4 or 5 episodes?
Well, you said fans there. The truth is, it's just a reality. We don't talk about the fans. We can't because there aren't enough. There aren't enough. We think about the audience. I think it's shrewd in Britain anyway for it to starve them a little bit, make an event of it coming back. Because there's always a danger that something starts to disappear into the woodwork. And periodically it did on Doctor Who. So we don't want it to become... We always want Doctor Who to have event status. It's a treat that you get to watch Doctor Who. Not just something that you think happens every year. We want people to think it's special, that it's back. So this is one way of doing it. Also, British television is seriously not set up to make the kind of show Doctor Who. It's nothing. Even American television, they find this difficult. There's so much new stuff you have to do. So a breather isn't a bad idea. New team taking over all that. I think it's a smart move. Also, that fuss. Doctor Who is because everyone Britain is obsessed with Doctor Who. They think, ooh, gap year. Every British series has gap years all the time. We're not seasonal like here. There's a gap year in most things I've done.
Gap years hurt though.
You don't, because you can go out and do other things. You can watch.
Sorry, it doesn't compute.
Well, then I think you need a gap year. I think you need 2 years off. I'm not allowing you to watch it again for 3 years.
Have you gotten any parting words of wisdom from Russell about the show?
He's not gone yet.
Well,
so parting would be a bit extreme. He's there for about a year. Poor old Russell, he keeps saying, "I'm still here." We email constantly, but mostly just about fan nonsense, to be honest. So we talk all the time. It's a really hard show, as I'm finding. I'm talking to people about Doctor Who now, to advise people on, because as I say, really and truly, every show is different. It's a different set of rules every week. You can't. I would know what to say to somebody if they were going to write an episode of Coupling or some other show I worked on. I'd say, well, it's basically this. You do this and then you do that. They wouldn't necessarily be good at it, but they would have a good brief. Doctor Who, you've got one set that you use sparingly at the top of the episode with 2 regular characters. You run out the door and all bets are off. Could be a comedy out there, it could be a drama or a murder mystery, it could be anything. So I don't know how you advise. And you know, I'm not brand new to it. I've been there. So I'm sure, hopefully you'll have lots of words of wisdom. But you know, anytime I've ever been asked for words of wisdom, I haven't been able to think of anything. So he'll probably just shrug and disappear into the Welsh hills, sing for joy. Free at last.
Does it bother you that American TV has a tendency to edit down Doctor Who to make room for more commercials?
Well, probably not as much as it bothers you. It's a problem, and I've been inclined. I've said this to him. I think we should be involved in the editing process, just so it's not crap. I don't think, generally speaking, you can edit things. You can make them shorter. You can always do something. You can always take stuff out. So I remember doing the cut downs for Jekyll, which I did myself, and they were better. I prefer the shorter ones. It's just because if you can cut something, there's a strong argument that you should. And that's. I think your sitcoms are suffering because they're so insanely short now. You can't tell a proper story in 20 minutes. That's daft.
Negotiation between your people and their people, I suppose, what they're going to edit out? Or?
Well, I know on Jekyll we sent them the 2 versions. Said, here's one. What length do you want? We'll make one for you. So you can do that. I mean, anyone will be happy for you to do their job for them.
And when can we expect a Doctor Who movie?
I have no idea. Yeah. I mean, I really don't know the answer to that. I mean, it could happen. There'll always be a commercial pressure to do such a thing, but I don't know. Somebody just there referred to it as the natural next step. It's not the natural next step. The important thing about Doctor Who is the series, and there might be other things that we offshoot from it, and some of those things might be hugely important and successful and wonderful. But the important thing is the series, and it always will be, because that's what it is. It's a television series, and nothing will ever be allowed to take precedence over that.
Does the writing staff ever regard the U.S. Doctor Who movie that came out, though they just consider that like the redheaded stepchild, and is it acknowledged as part of canon?
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, Paul McGann's the Doctor. Absolutely, it was on television. He was there. He went to San Francisco that night and had that adventure. I mean, there's worse Doctor Who stories than that one, and I thought Paul McGann was a terrific Doctor, and so there was some really nice stuff in that film actually. I think there's probably, there's this sort of element of, I think I was talking earlier about the children's aspect of it. Is that's almost the one note I'd give it is he went to a cocktail party.
Yeah.
You should be fighting monsters in a dungeon at that point, not going to a cocktail party. You don't care about that, but it was a nice piece and very good dialogue in it, and good performances, and he was great.
Right. I mean, because technically that's the Doctor that was in the Time War.
You don't know that. It could have been Chris.
Speaking of dialogue.
Also, the Time War changed all sorts of things.
That's
so
true.
maybe there's several Doctors.
Yeah.
You don't know.
What about that half-human dialogue in the movie?
Well, we can do what we like with it. I mean, one of the sort of marvellous things about Doctor Who is you could comb every episode from the beginning to the end, and you couldn't affirm or contradict that he's half human. You couldn't. There's no way of doing it. So that means it's not that important. I can absolutely understand why they put it in. For a new audience it's all right for the British audience to say, he's an alien from space, but he's got a British accent, he wears very, very human clothes, and he has only human cultural references, but honestly, he's an alien. A new audience would be going, what? Mr. Spock at least had improbable ears. This guy's rubbish. He's obviously from London in 1889. So I can see why they would say shorthand for this is he's half human. Why not?
Chris,
Big deal. It makes no damn difference to the show at all. Okay.
Chris had the best answer for that. He said a lot of countries have a north. A lot of planets have a north.
Well, that's the kind of improbable level of answer you want. It's just we all know the game we're playing. He's sort of human, isn't he? Really. I mean, he's not very alien. We say he's very, very alien, but he's not very. It wouldn't work if he was. If he was an insect, I don't think. That David Tennant would be getting quite the attention he is. I think he's an insect. He's got mandibles, all like that.
Do you have a favorite villain or a favorite new friend that's this generation?
I think Weeping Angels was great. Do I have a favourite? I like... Not especially. I like most of it. It's pretty good. I mean... I don't. I've finally, and there is hope grown out of making lists. So I don't really know. But as I said before, I'm more interested in the new stuff than the old. I think it always has to be new. That's just so important to Doctor Who. With a free song, but you could so easily get to the point. It's so easy. Just you're sitting planning the series and realize you've got something from the old show in every single episode. Just in a moment you can do that. You think, no, that's not right. You know? The whole series is a bloody sequel. Who cares about that? And we'll call it Doctor Who 2. That's not good.
So who's your favorite character from the new show, then?
Who's my favourite character from the new show?
From the new... Yeah.
Well, I like lots. I mean, I really like that woman who ran Torchwood. I think she was terrific. Russell's one. She was bossy, and Ian Von Hartman. I thought that was a great character. It's a shame she died, actually. I really like the fact that she was villainous, but was absolutely centred in what she was doing, and that she, in her mind, was the hero, and therefore behaved well. She behaved well despite her villainy. So I thought she was a great character. Rose, obviously, I really loved Catherine Taylor's Donna. I thought that was, a big risk for Doctor Who to take. That was a sweaty moment, but that just paid off beautifully. In terms of things I wrote, I liked River. I liked the River song. That was fun because she's mysterious and she's got secrets. That's a fun thing to do.
Did you purposely write the ambiguous when she said when she said to the Doctor, when she recognized him or whatever? Was it purposely ambiguous the line about his eyes were younger? Like you couldn't really tell whether she knew this.
Well, I mean, obviously, not sadly knowing every single detail of how the rest of Doctor Who is going to work out. Yes, I was deliberately ambiguous. Is it the same Doctor? Is it a different Doctor? I mean, I think the implication is fairly strong that she knows different Doctors, but she knows him as well. That she's just popping around space and time, trying them all out. She's a bad girl, bad River.
Are we going to see her?
She goes back to the modern day Doctor and says, "Oh, number 10, he was nice." I'm sorry?
Are we going to see her again in the future?
Right. The Doctor will certainly see her again, whether we see him seeing her again or whether he just slips at the TARDIS in the early morning with a bottle of champagne and a cravat. We'll find out.
So apart from the types of stories that you plan on telling, what kind of overall goal do you have for your leadership of the show?
Leadership is the only television job you get told you're having leadership. Really, you can overcomplicate this. You can't have a specific or big overarching agenda for a show like Doctor Who. It's only 45 minutes of awesome every Saturday, or you're screwed, really.
Tell stories.
And every story should be brand new and different. Doctor Who doesn't change its style with its staff. It changes its style with every single episode. So you want to sort of keep the basics of the show simple and sort of agenda free, so that you can be brand new every single week. That's what people like at the Doctor.
So how do you find the right writers and help pull that off?
How do I find the writers?
Yeah.
I open the door and pick them out the queue that winds around my street. It's not a problem to get writers for Doctor Who.
No, I'm just wondering what kind of characters do you look for in those type of writers, to help you in sort of seeing
a lot of it, just being brutal for the most part. I mean, the ideal is someone with a lot of experience in television, because it's technically an extremely demanding show. I mean, you have to know how to deal with budgets and limit. You'll be told at the top of the show you've got 10 CGI shots, 6 seconds long. That's what you've got. I'm going to make it count. You've got to be able to write action, which lots of people can't. Writing pages of lovely dialogue is kind of pointless in Doctor Who. I mean, we want it anyway, but it's astonishing how many scripts you think, well, you can't write the Doctor enters, 5 guards run in, they are arrested. Beat for beat, what happens? You need visual, action-oriented writing. You just need really, really good writers. It's a very, very tough job, this one. It's properly difficult, and it's different every time. There's so little you can take as a piece of learning from one episode to the next. It's brand new every time, so I screw up all the time. So how can I advise other people not to screw up? Russell screws up all the time. You get lost, you get stuck, more so than any other show I've ever been involved in. It's very tough. So experienced geniuses who need no help from me. I would like those that we produce. I'm very lazy.
In every series so far, there's always one episode that really doesn't feature the Doctor.
Yes,
pretty much at all. Blank is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Why is that done?
purely a scheduling issue. I don't know why this is, but I think it's because we've got less money. We can't make, I mean, I know you guys in this country, you make 25 episodes of a show and you manage it in 6 months or something. We don't have more than one crew working on the show. We haven't got time within the months we've got to shoot the show to shoot 14 shows consecutively. We've got time just to make 13. So what we do is make 2 shows at the same time. Obviously, arithmetically, very clearly, that means the main cast can't be in all of the episodes.